for the YouTube streaming, Ashanku sir, if you want to confirm once, like the streaming is okay, ready? Shall we start?
Neema, please start.
Okay, okay. So if So a very good afternoon to everybody present over here. And with everyone's kind permission, let's start the session. Today, 4th of February, and we all have gathered here to commemorate World Cancer Day. This is every year we are observing this day for a couple of years. I think from 2020 we have started observing, the world has started observing the day. This is a key awareness day in the global health calendar, and this is initiative of basically first taken by IUCC. This is International Council for Cancer Control. And the purpose of the day, like the many other observance day, as we know that the main purpose over here is to spread the awareness, to educate people, because we know for disease like cancer, if we can educate people, if we can aware people, then we can prevent, and prevention is always better than cure. So for that purpose only, we can save many lives, and especially for dedicating a particular day and the month of February for these cancer programs is to take the initiative from the person level and to the pressing the governments to take initiative immediately so that we can stop this overpowering disease to at least to a certain extent. From this year onwards, the international theme of the day is Close the Care Gap, and this will be continued for the coming 3 years. Today, we are very honored, and we are having dignitaries here. We are very renowned dignitaries. So we will hear from the renowned speakers. We have with us Dr. S.K. Sharma sir. Welcome, sir. S.K.
Good
Sharma sir
afternoon,
is the
ma'am.
Director, Radiation Oncology, Capital Hospital, Jalandhar. We have with us Dr. Tapas Majhi sir.
Thank
He
you,
is the head of the department, Chittaranjan National Cancer Institute and RCC, Kolkata. We also have Dr. KanikaSharma ma'am. She is from Dharmashala Narayana Super Speciality Hospital, New Delhi. So we welcome you all here. And
Okay, ma'am.
On behalf of the whole fraternity of the DS Foundation and the TIPS, we express our heartfelt gratitude for accepting our invitation for the webinar. Thank you very much, everybody. And also to spare some time from your busy schedule, because we know all of you are too busy with your patients. You are always serving the society. So thank you very, very much for joining us. Our students are delighted. We are also delighted, and we are very hopeful that we will learn a lot from all of you. Uh, Today in this platform, me, Tanima Guha, and my co-coordinator, Dr. Swarup Datta sir. So we will try to explore with the discussion with all of you. We will have many experts joining here. So with all of you, we will try to find out the major causes. What are the causes that we are having a gap in care giving in the world, and of course in the Indian scenario? We will also try to love to hear from all of you that what are the remedies that you suggest that we can take initiative on the government level and of course on the personal level. And many of us, our students and all, we are healthcare professionals. So we will, what role we can play in closing this gap. So this will be the outcome. So without wasting further time, now I would like to request Dr. Saurabh Trivedi sir. He is the principal in charge in Bengal Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, which is our sister concern, and he is also a prime
Good afternoon,
consultant
ma'am.
to our mother organization, DS Group. So welcome you here also, sir. And sir, I will
Thank you,
request you
ma'am.
to give a welcome note to all the dignitaries of the webinar today, and also please share your view and thoughts for the observance of today's observance. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Uh, Thank you for this opportunity to be present among such dignitaries, such renowned people, and the expert in their field. Well, let's begin by picturing this. We all were afraid of darkness at one point or time, maybe during our childhood or when we have to walk across the hall at night to grab a bottle of water. Well, frankly speaking, if it will be me, I'll be like, bhai, aaj bina pani piye so jao. Zarurat nahi hai. I don't want to get in the trouble of walking in the darkness where switches of the, my savior tube lights are across the hall, which I need to turn off while my way back home. My point is, why are we afraid of walking the hall? The same hall, same space, just in the absence of light. The answer comes in complete knowledge. We do know all the entire environment of the hall, we know everything about the hall, but we don't know the darkness. Once this knowledge of our becomes incomplete, the fear takes control. The same thing happens with cancer. Ma'am, the cancer is one such scenario where people fall prey to their fear, and it cost everything to them. It cost even their life. It'll be like many years before we will all be able to solve the reasons behind the complexity of cancer. We may never be able to, reverse the lives that were affected by cancer. If someone suffers from cancer, not only he or she suffers from the cancer, the entire family suffers from cancer. The neighborhood that is like around that patient who cares for that particular patient, they suffer from cancer. It's not just he is suffering, the entire environment is suffering from it, and it takes forever for them to recover from it. We can't reverse a lot of things, but what we can do about it is we can empower individual with awareness, we can empower family with awareness, so that it can lead to early diagnosis followed by early intervention. It it's very important. We need to bridge the gap, the bridge the gap of incomplete knowledge with right knowledge and right awareness about the risk factor, about early detection, about everything. Well, in short, we need to close the care gap, the theme of World Cancer Day and today's talk show. I would like to welcome Dr. S.K. Sharma sir, Dr. Tapas Kumar Majhi sir, and Dr. KanikaSharma ma'am. I welcome you all to this talk show and thank you for taking out time to spread the ray of hope in this darkness. I would request Ms. Tanima Guha ma'am and Swarup Datta sir to take over this and start this important and necessary event. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Trivedi, for your thoughts for today's observance of World Cancer Day. So, and I also like to thank you, Tanima Madam, for introducing me as a co-coordinator of this session. So, just coming to the main portion of the today's session, I will first over to Dr. S.K. Sharma, sir. Sir, I would like to ask you a question which is very important. I think it is also quite relevant to our audience as well, because many audience are listening through our YouTube channel as well. So the theme has been changed this year. There is close the care gap. So I would like to know that what are the different causes which is responsible for this gap. If you kindly put a highlight over this, that what are the causes which is basically responsible for this care gap. So over to you, sir.
Okay. First of all, am I audible to everybody? Yes. Okay. So good afternoon to everybody. Okay. Good afternoon to everybody and good afternoon to all the panelists. Okay. Thank you for inviting me. I'll introduce myself and you can continue with cross questioning to me also. I'm Dr. Sharma here in the field of radiotherapy in oncology from last 30 years. So I'll come straight away to the question where the gap in the cancer care is there. Everybody is looking for that. So before addressing this issue, we have to keep in the mind that the health is a fundamental right to every citizen of the country. Don't forget that we are in a developing country. We are not a developed country. So we have our small issues. It is not the darkness. It is just a fear factor which is there. But I'll try to overcome that also. But first we come to know what are the causes, main causes behind our gap. The foremost and the most important is the education level of our country. Very, very important. The educated people are able to take care of this health in a better manner at any disease. Forget about the cancer. If the kidney failure is there, the family knows how and where to go for the treatment. Looking into the second, so educated versus non-educated. The educated person is well comfortable with the scenarios where he can or she can go for the treatment with the family. The second factor is in our country where the economics plays a huge role, right from the government level to the personal level. If a person's income oblique the family income, or if you want to go into a little broader aspect, where the per capita income of the city, that means rich versus poor, a person with good income can afford any treatment, whether he is there in Assam, Tripura, Delhi, or Mumbai. And keeping in the mind, except see a breast patient, which is occurring in both high and low socioeconomic status, rest mainly 90% of the cancer occurs in poor people only. So keeping these two important factors, education and the economy, the third factor which is there, in which the inequality is there, it is the gender in our country, where male versus female is there. So male people's 70% of Indian population still lives in rural area. 70%. It's a huge number. And females in the rural area are less educated and neglected. And the fourth factor which is there is geographical inequality. Our country is divided in papers also, in newspapers also, in radio also, that it is urban versus rural. Whenever we see the data somewhere, we see whether it is rural data or urban data. You take an example of Mumbai and Delhi versus any small city. The facilities oblique resources which are available in tier 1 cities are not available in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So combine all these factors in Indian scenario with some other factors which are there with us. Our country is an overpopulated country where you go on demand and supply is not matching. Acceptability, the fear factor which is there in the disease. One should understand that it is not the cancer which is giving you the fear factor. Now, I'm in the field from last 30 years. Now the patients are surviving for 15, 20 years. So dialysis, kidney failure is much bad as compared to the cancer. The patient is suffering, going for dialysis so many times. So there are other diseases which are more chronic and more bad as compared to cancer. So we should not have this fear factor. Okay, the change of lifestyle which we have taken from the Western in a developing country, I'll put it in a very simple manner. Our mythology is 5,000 years or 6,000 years old. The Gita and Ramayana was written at that time. And now we are going beyond the Western culture, which is only, America is just 500 years old. So we are going away from our culture. In the culture means you are going for junk food and all these, okay, and the change of the lifestyle. So these combine all together are the causes at this point of time to, we have to think over this to bridge the gap, okay. So personally, I consider these are the bottlenecks or the challenges to be overcome. These are not the blind ends. Okay, these are not the blind ends. These are the challenges with us. And we have to think from ground level to the top level. Okay, and I ask now, let's continue the discussion. Okay, with the other panelists also. With this, we will build on to the further questions.
Yeah, thank you very, very much, sir. So you have distinctly identified the major causes, uh,
Yes.
the headlines, and that's very helpful. So throughout the discussion, sir, we will try to find
Y-
out the more details about the points that you have
Yes.
highlighted from the all the panelists present over here. Now, moving to the next question, sir, I will like to ask Dr. Tapas Majhi, sir. Sir, you are a very senior oncologist, and as the Sharma sir has just now has pointed out that there is a gap. First, before starting even the discussion, we should all accept, and I think we all agree that yes, there is a gap in care providing to the different people, and one of the major reason we found over there. So we need to take initiative to solve. So my question to you is, in your opinion, what initiative, plan, or strategy the governments can take to close this gap? This is the first question. And secondly, as Sharma sir has pointed out, that in the different geographical regions, the facilities availability of the cancer treatment is not only cancer treatment, like any healthcare facility is not equally available to people. So what is that, if you have like any idea about this, if you can put some light to us, that what is the relative status of the different regions of India in this regard? So,
Yes. So I will start with the Dr. Sharma's word, the inequality. Here, the inequality means the uneven distribution of the facilities all over the country. But there is another term is called inequity. Inequity is more related to unjust deprivation. It is that one is supposed to get, but he or she is not getting. So the facility starts from right from in cancer or in any other disease. It's right starts from the diagnosis. So the diagnosis in a remote place, in my 25 years of oncology practice, it is it is the story of deprivation only. One person in the remote place, suppose, see, cancer is now a notifiable disease. So say cancer is notified, say, by some healthcare worker, and after that he doesn't know where to go for the biopsy, where to go for the diagnosis, where to go for a X-ray or PET scan, CT scan. Lot of things comes, and he becomes confused, and he finds some alternative way, like some conventional way, and the cancer becomes advanced. And after a long time, with the advanced disease, he or she comes to the city, and then doctor tell that, okay, you are all advanced, so I cannot treat you. So this is the inequity. So this has to be solved by the government. So I just tell one speech of Ban Ki-moon, the former Secretary General of United Nations. She said that on World Cancer Day, let us resolve to end the injustice of preventable suffering from this disease as part of our larger push to leave no one behind. So this we have to address first, and uh, to bridge the care gap, government must come because it is uh, government must come in a way that the as Dr. Sharma told, that early detection, early 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 detection treatment nowadays is very advanced, and not it is not possible for government to set up plenty of multidisciplinary cancer care center across the country. It is not possible. Only government can, what government should do, government should involve the private model, the private centers into the government system. So that is essential. So for for training and generation of the resource person, I think government should take the step ahead. How to generate the resource person, how to generate the facilities available with all the private and public both, and especially uh, the healthcare workers, training of the healthcare workers uh, in grassroots level, in grassroots level, the training. So by this way we can do. And as Tanima madam has asked, what is the scenario of our India, of our country in the machine and all that radiotherapy machines. Currently, we have only 545 teletherapy machines in India, or even it is plus minus say 10 now. I am giving you a bit older data, but still the deficiency is more than double, according to who. Every 1 million of patient, I mean the population, there should be at least one teletherapy machine. But it is simply not possible for the government to provide all these things. So later it will come up how it should be collaborated with other, I mean, non-governmental or private stakes. So I think the cancer therapy is now advanced, and the provision of advanced machine is simply not possible by the government. So there should be some collaborative work. And what government should do, what I think, government should indulge into the insurance policy. Various types of, say, health minister cancer patient fund, or the Rashtriya Arogya Nidhi, or the state illness assistant fund, or even the CGHS, or the this Ayushman Bharat program recently. So these are the programs which helps every citizen of this country. Should it should be extended to all citizens of the country, so that some help, at least the insurance help, they should receive. I think we should carry on. And
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So just one little addition to your parts. So do you think, like, as a, yeah, government has a lot to do. Definitely, they are the policy maker, they are the strategy maker. So they will guide, and accordingly the whole system, the ecosystem of the healthcare will run. That's definitely. But as an individual, as an healthcare professionals, because I have many healthcare professionals join the meeting, and many students are also there. So do you think that as on a personal basis, we have limited resources, maybe limited capability, but still as an individual, so do we have
yeah,
any
yeah,
role?
yeah. As an individual healthcare specialist, you have to raise your voice. Only you have to raise your voice that against the inequity. You have to raise your voice, and you have to tell everybody around you, even to your family. You have to dispel the myths and misconceptions regarding cancer. Regarding the You have to dispel the myths and misconceptions regarding cancer, and you can start with your locality. You can start with your local people. You can start with the knowledge they have and the resources they have. You can start with. So these things we can do. We can
Yes,
always
sir.
try to train our
Absolutely.
neighbors.
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, to be honest, like, I think, like, students and like all others, even we can even start with us. We can educate ourselves. We can follow the things that we should do and shouldn't do, because there are many things nowadays, and nowadays internet is available. Many things we are always watching, seeing that what should be done and what should not be done. What Dr. Sharma has already mentioned: the lifestyle, the food that we take, the physical exercise we do or not. So those things, yeah, definitely we can do, and we can also encourage others in our surrounding to do so. That's a role that we can definitely play anytime. Now, moving to the next question. Thank you very much, sir. So now moving to the next question. Now I would like to go to KanikaSharma ma'am. Ma'am, like, in countries like ours, the point that Sharma sir and the Majhi sir both have said, there is an inequality. There is a inequality because of the socio-economic condition. and there is a big inequality because of the discrimination in the gender inequality. So, ma'am, do you think from your decade-long experience in the field that how this comes into play when we are trying to provide a quality healthcare to the mass population? So, and especially another part of the question will be, ma'am, so like, have you ever felt that as Sharma sir has said, that the women in our country are really being deprived in some sense? Have you felt that in your during practicing, um, and what to do for that? So, ma'am, what's your opinion regarding those?
First of all, I thank you for the invitation to this very pertinent talk, and it's a big honor for me to share stage with stalwarts like Dr. Sharma and Dr. Majhi. I think they have seen the transformation in oncology. I, being in the field for not more than 20 years, 18, 20 years of experience, has seen the more digital, more advanced world. But I think they are the ones who have seen the entire spectrum. So, and that is the reason I think they see the gaps with the scanner much better than we do, because we are the privileged ones seeing a better society. Especially the metropolitan city practices are very different. So I would echo what both the speakers have said, that yes, there are differences in treatment care across the country by virtue of multitudes of factors. And these factors do come to us also because we see a lot of people coming from the remote areas seeking as a second opinion, as third opinion, and sometimes they have family members or children in the metros. They come to their children for further treatment. So there we actually also get to see how much of difference there is in the availability of health services. And for a simple disease, seeking a cancer opinion is like a big deal for patients in the remote areas. So I think one thing which is likely to be a game changer, which we all have appreciated well during COVID times, is digitalization. As you briefly spoke about internet, you yourself touched upon that point. Digitalization is going to be the catalyst for bringing this gap, bridging this gap. During these times, I could myself notice that how easy it was for a woman sitting in her farm in Bihar sitting with, I could see the buffaloes and the cows all, she could show me her pond and she could get my opinion and she could get in touch with me. So I think digitalization is going to be the catalyst. Second thing, I think Majhi sir also touched upon about insurance. I think it is high time that insurance should be a mandate. We insure our cars because you need it, because your policeman will check. Similarly, I think it should be a mandate. And as sir pointed out, there has to be a partnership, public, private. So as NH, since I represent Dr. Devi Shetty's brand, what they endorsed, what they started is, they started a scheme called Yashaswini. So the farmers had to pay 5-10 rupees and rest the public sector was contributing. So we need to create such models where there is a sense of responsibility that I have to pay for my insurance, but it is so nominal that it doesn't burn your pockets. But it definitely works. I think these are things which really require a lot of deliberations in the coming 3 years. And I'm glad this theme this year has been actually bringing the focus to the right things. As for women, I think women wellness index of our country is overall very low. Reasons are multitude again, nutritional challenges, there is a malnutrition, anemia, mother and child health issues, which have overall put women at a lower scale than men in terms of health. But when it comes to disparity, I think I would be not wrong in saying that the disparity is because women themselves are reluctant. I have seen examples, multiple examples where I'll just quote one example, a principal of a college not coming for treatment and reaching to me in T4 stage where her clothes were stuck with the lesion, saying that I did not disclose this because my husband is a heart patient, how he would have taken that. So even education is not giving that empowerment. I'm surprised that women are trying to keep their selves behind. It is not that men will not take them. The men folk always come and say that she did not tell me. So it is high time to tell women that they have to be charge of their health. So 3-4 years back, there was a Me Too movement. So we started a Me First movement. I said, for health, you cannot wait. You have to be me first. So don't deprive yourself. Deprivation, as rightly pointed out by my previous speakers, is one of the causes for this disparity. So women have to be focused on the fact that if they are healthy, their family is healthy. So you need to really provocate that. Yes, the disparity, that gender disparity, we are a nation जहाँ सबको लड़का चाहिए. So जहाँ पैदा से ही लड़का चाहिए, तो इलाज में तो उनको लड़कियों की तरफ रुझान होगा ही नहीं. Another example, I think our government also understands that. HPV vaccine, you see, our country is endorsing only for girls. We know it also helps for anal cancer,
for
it
men.
can help for oropharyngeal. But why? Because they know, because once we offer it for sons, none of the girls will get it. Because it is paid. It is not in our immunization program. So I think our country has that inclination. We cannot culturally change people. It is that we need to create that fact that women health is important, because if a woman of the house is unwell, the entire house goes down.
Is unaware.
If she's the engine of the house, so that needs to be reinforced. So in what I see in our practice in Delhi, I think Sharma sir would endorse that because he's had a good amount of experience here. We don't see much of reluctance in families. I think 80 to 90% families, they stand by women. At least in metropolitan cities, yes, there are 10-20% who would hesitate in, spending money, but otherwise I think people have their strong maternal instincts. They want to do good to their women. Women themselves have to be more in charge of their health and come forward. This disparity will not go till women come out of their shy zone and start expressing their health needs to their family members.
Absolutely, ma'am. Even they have this tendency to, ma'am, place themselves last. Like they will care for their husband first, their children first, and then they will count themselves. And that's what Indian women are. Anyways, I have a tendency to, keep a pen and paper while I am attending a webinar or talk show or anything. And this is the first round of questionnaires that has been completed, where all the three our eminent panelists has been covered, and the discussion. What happens when curiosity meets experience? We have covered. We have discussed about education, economy, inequality, the gender one, inequity, geographical inequality, insurance, and digitalization. I think we are looking forward for something really great with this talk show. Over to you, Tanima.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, Kanika madam, for your nice elaboration regarding the issues, what open challenges are facing nowadays, and how the revolutionized has been done to telemedicine. I think it addresses a lot of questions of our audiences, that how things are changing, and what is the entire spectrum which is earlier and what is the nowadays. I think the entire scenario is quite clear for our audience as well. So I move to Dr. Sharma sir. So over to you again, sir. I would like to know that, as you all know, that a huge number of advancement was there for the modern techniques regarding the treatment of cancer, and many new techniques and modalities are coming day by day, and there's a major advancement in abroad countries as well. And a huge amount of fund has been also utilized for purchasing those equipments and bring to our country and taking to the system and providing the care to the patient. So in this regard, a huge number of fund has been outflux from our country to outside. So in this regard, what do you think, that what are the changes should be done in our existing infrastructure in our Indian healthcare system, so that those modalities can be incorporated in, or prepared in our country itself, and what are the research areas which has to be focused much a lot, and what are the funding actually required in this context, so that this infrastructure can be built in our own system, so that this fund can be, the outflows of the fund can be stopped, and where our government is promoting regarding Atmanirbhar Bharat. So what is your thoughts regarding this, that how these things should be incorporated, and how these modalities and this treatment procedure should be built in our own system? Over to you, sir.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say something very simple, that yes, I agree with you that we should have our indigenous development. 200%. Every country should have that indigenous development of the equipments. Okay. But one should not be afraid of it. One should not give the back foot onto that. I take it a little broader spectrum. Cancer is treated by surgery, chemotherapy, and radiotherapy. You are worried about the linear accelerator and the robotic surgeries and the technology of the PET scan. Okay, diagnostic, surgical part, technology. So this is a place which only 10% of people need, 20% of people need. Okay, we have good surgical hands. Our surgeons are renowned all over the world. If our chemotherapy, which is 90% of chemotherapy, Dr. Kanika will agree, Dr. Tapas sir will be agreeing with me, that around 90% of the chemotherapy is affordable to us, except the new molecules with targeted therapy and the therapies.
Yes, sir, very much acceptable.
And I'll share with you something. I'm from last 20 years, I'm instrumental in putting around 18 cancer centers in country and abroad. The people should not be afraid. IMRT radiotherapy will be installed in any of the cities or in any of the hospitals with the tune of just 12 to 15 crores. It is not a big deal today. Yes, government sector has its own ways of doing the things, asking about huge amounts in between the under table something, whatever you can say, okay? But I have already placed 18 cancer centers in the country, right from the metros to the tier 2, tier 3 cities, where IMRT radiotherapy, which is a game changer with us from last 15, 20 years, is affordable to everybody to any of the hospitals. 12 to 15 crores is not a huge investment. But I do agree with you, because with due course of time, we should develop our own indigenous robots, our PET scans, and our linear accelerators.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very, very much. Now discussing the disease. So today we are discussing a disease which is cancer, which is overpowering the society day by day. It is spreading, and it is being predicted that this number will rise to a almost, it will be double in coming few years. So that is why we should know the disease more further. So discussing the disease, what is our general experience in the society, that we found this disease, the treating cancer is not only it's treating it clinically, it is also creating a huge mental impact on the patient, him or herself, and also on the family and the neighborhood, as during the welcome speech Dr. Trivedi was also telling. So so for this cancer treatment, this is because I sometimes visit. I am absolutely not from the field, but this is also my experience. I have also lost someone very close to me just few days back. So I have seen that the stigma, the trauma, the depression, and definitely because of the huge cost of treatment, sometimes a prolonged treatment process, and sometimes because of the myth and the fear. I don't know. That's also sometimes work between many families, that yeah, this, because as the Sharma sir was telling, that kidney failure is equally dangerous. It can even cost many life. Even a cancer survivor can have 5 more years. They can live nicely, but still this cancer word is still creating a taboo like things in the most of the people. Ma'am, from you, we would like to know that, do you agree that for cancer we need to target a holistic treatment procedures, not only targeting the treating the disease clinically, but also like giving support, dignity, and the love that they want? And the second part of my question will be, ma'am, do you think that in a country like India, where almost all the hospitals, both the public sector and the private sector, are like almost overburdened with the huge number of patients because of the, as is discussing, the inequality in the availability of infrastructure? So, ma'am, do you think that in shortage of staff, skilled staff, and this, that is it possible to provide that holistic care at all? Do we have time, or are we really practicing it some point?
So I think there is no doubt that cancer is not just a 4-day, 5-day treatment. It's not like I always keep telling patients, "ये जुकाम खांसी का इलाज नहीं है." So it is a voyage. It is a full crew which sails in this ship. The ups and downs come across the entire crew, right? There may be treatment related problems which are causing mental issues or physical issues, and then there may not be success stories all the time. There may be patients who may not make it. So definitely, by principle, holistic approach is required, and we all understand that. I don't think cognizance is not there about the fact that a psychological counselor or a social worker should be part of the team. But the problem is that there is no uniformity. The ability to have a team which is comprising of a psychological counselor or a psycho-oncologist is not available with all the centers. And also, I would say, we actually do not have very, very trained psychological counselors also. Many a times, I don't know what others experience. If I send a patient to the psychological counselor, the family comes running back to us that उन्होंने तो ये बोल दिया, आपने ये बोला था. So we all need also to be in one sync. So the psychological counselor also has to be part of the care plan, who understands the patient's prognosis. So this is something which is going to take a lot of time in our country. I don't think we really have made much grounds through this work. In pockets, some organizations are doing it, and because there is availability of time, because private sector does have relatively fewer patients to handle in a day. So we do endorse having these clinics where we are having dedicated site specific clinics where these counselors are part of it, but it cannot be practiced across. We are not having full technologies, we're not having doctors enough, so psychological counselors would add to a burden which nobody, at least in the public sector, is investing upon as of now. But even in private sector, there is a dearth of having these people. Having said that, so there needs to be involvement of somebody along with the doctor, because doctors are busy. You have to take decisions, you have to take rounds, you have to treat patients. So our counseling actually limits to the first interaction with our patients. When they come to us, it will be maybe a 35-40 minutes interaction where we are just giving an overview. But that consistent counseling, depending upon the change of prognosis, that continuity of psychological counseling does not happen. So you need to have a parallel social worker or a unit who is simultaneously handling these situations. But I think these sound so good, and Western world does that. For us, they just look like they're not the low-hanging fruits as of now. So we really need to work hard to get to the top of the tree for this particular situation. As you rightly said, private sector may be doing, public sector. I remember, since I've been trained from a government sector, आप पेशेंट नहीं देखते हो, आप फाइलें निपटाते हो. दैट इज हाउ यू डू. आज मेरे पास 80 फाइल्स हैं. सो दैट इज हाउ वी हैड टू सी पेशेंट्स. वी हैड टू सी 150 पेशेंट्स, एंड पेशेंट्स नीडेड ट्रीटमेंट टू बी स्टार्टेड. दे आल्सो डिड नॉट engage into those talks because they also felt that फटाफट हमारा ट्रीटमेंट हो जाए. देयर इज अ वेटिंग फॉर रेडिएशन, अदरवाइज 4 महीने की रेडिएशन की डेट मिलेगी. देयर आर सो मेनी अदर इश्यूज दैट इट डज नॉट बॉयल टू दैट element. It becomes an ignored, untalked element in 80% of our population. So it is a felt need. And I think we are just on our early stepping stones towards it. It's a long journey for this particular situation right now.
Absolutely true, ma'am. Definitely, this thing has to be make understand the patient as well. That is not only the doctors, the other players also be the part of the team game. And this thing has to be make the patient to understand that they also come into the focus as a part of the treatment. So I think in the coming years, the scenario has been changed, and the practice will definitely come into the focus as well. So again, moving to Dr. Sharma sir again. So I have to know that there are many advanced techniques which already came into play, and many new modern technique has been already being access to the patient as well. So what are the things in the coming years? What are the new advancement? What are the new modalities which came into play? If you kindly keep it a focus on that, and which one is the game changer? Which is the main modalities which is being come into play in the coming years? What do you think about this? And can be incorporated in our existing system? The system is currently running in pan-India basis. So can those advancements can be incorporated in our present healthcare system or not? So if you kindly focus in that. So over to you, sir.
Okay. So you have specifically given me the question that radiotherapy techniques. So advancement in radiotherapy techniques are already there from last 20 years, which is the IMRT intensity modulated radiotherapy, which is the game changer. Already in the market from last 20 years, and now every center is having the equipment with IMRT, that is the minimum. So image guided radiotherapy is a step above that. So if a center is looking for a linear accelerator, they should have the IMRT and IGRT. The another new two things have come up is stereotactic radiotherapy and stereotactic body radiotherapy, and very costly affair which is there. People will hear on to that. This is called a proton therapy. So proton therapy is only one center has come up in India, and that is also not very successful and not having much of the indications for that, because the equal results are there with photon as well as with the proton. So in the Indian healthcare, are these systems have been advancedly accepted? Yes, it has been accepted in all the new centers which are coming up. Not only that, if the old centers are coming up, the companies have come with a smaller version of the equipment of linear accelerator, which is performing these IMRT, IGRT. I'll take an example. The Halcyon machine is there, which can be put into the cobalt rooms also. So what are the latest advancement and the game changer? So last time also I have put in simply that IMRT is the game changer in the field of radiotherapy. And if you say the another two game changers which are there into the oncology, apart from radiotherapy, so chemotherapy, the targeted therapy is the game changer, and robotic surgery in the surgery is the game changer, because if you consider the cancer treatment, it is surgery, radiotherapy and chemotherapy all together combined together. So there is an advancement in all the three modalities. Surgery, robotic surgery is coming up. Chemotherapy, already chemotherapy, targeted therapy with immunotherapy. There is another step forward. And for radiotherapy, yes, IGRT, stereotactic body radiotherapy, and very rarely it is required is the proton therapy. So these are the three things.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And it sounds good that our existing ecosystem has already adopted these techniques, which is
Yes.
quite fruitful for the patient, definitely in the
I
upcoming
am
days.
working
And
on
definitely.
IMRT from last 20 years. So it's there in the field from last 20 years.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. It's good. Sounds good. And definitely the patient will be definitely benefited and they will feel quite confident that is nothing to worry if
Yeah,
I
wherever the
have
patient
cancer.
should go, they should ask for IMRT radiotherapy minimum. If they are getting IGRT, that is another feather in the crown.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So now I move to Dr. Majhi, sir. Sir, I would like to know from your side that we find many advancements are coming up nowadays and in upcoming days, and already our existing ecosystem has already adopted many changes. One question definitely which came into mind that what is the present scenario of this skilled professional to operate those techniques and modalities?
Yes.
So presently, I have this data in my hand that which suggests that presently at a present scenario, we need to infuse more than 2,700 radiation oncologists. We need 1,500 more medical physicists and 4,700 radiation therapists right now. So I think there's a big dearth is there, there's a big gap is there in this demand of the skilled professionals and the actual supply of skilled professionals. So in this thing, I would like to know how to address this issue, that how can we bring the peoples into the system, how we can bring the skilled professional in the system, which is very much high in demand. So in this note, I like to over to you, sir, that what is your thing about this present scenario of this dearth in
Yes.
the skilled medical professionals?
Yes, very pertinent question. It is always the man behind the machine who is important, who is important. So having good machines in few centers will not serve the purpose of addressing the addressing a large pool of cancer patient in our country. So there must be the even distribution of the teletherapy machines. You know, Dr. Sharma is practicing 20 years IMRT, but you see in Calcutta only 5 years the IMRT has come in the government hospitals, and in the other private institutes it has come say some 10 years, 15 years back. So the reachability, the availability of this these techniques or these facilities to the uh, arm public, the arm common public, all the all the common public is the should be the main issue. because we are not concentrated on only the privileged section of the community. It is the entire, as Dr. Sharma has told, that 70% of our population lives in villages. So there is definitely dearth of human resource, and government has to come up, because it is only the government, not the private sectors, generate the human resource. So the human resource in oncology, it is a three-tier system. We all know that there are in the top, there are oncologists, and then there are medical physicists, and then technologists or technicians, and last but I mean not the least is the onco-nurses. So onco-nurses gives you the special care, the hospice care, and psychological, even the psychological support. So these four tier system has to be taken care of. But unfortunately, we have only, say, around 60 colleges in India giving the MD radiotherapy program, and there are two, 2000 only post MD oncologists are practicing all over India. So this is the scenario of our distribution of expertise, and uh, more expertise and more machines are distributed in the southern and western part of this country, and the eastern and northeastern part, as Tanima will agree with me, is largely deprived because of the geographical distribution and because of the education. So the effort of putting up I mean the human resource development center, like say paramedical training centers, and establishment of more and more medical colleges with oncology facility, etc., are required. So at present, coming to the medical physicist, only 1150 physicists and 600 RSO are applying in the country, and the 57 radiotherapy technology courses recognized by ARB are running in this country. So uh, I think I hope that in the coming years, more and more specialist and onco specialist in this area, like medical oncologist, radiation oncologist, and surgical oncologist, will come up, and they will devote themselves all over India, and there should be an even distribution in this country of generation of this human resource, because one from one locality, the people mainly are reluctant to go to remote places or in remote localities. Suppose a man from Punjab will seldom uh, agree to operate at, say, Mizoram. So there must be uh, upbringing of the human resource from the uh, from the area itself, from the people of the area itself. So education, again, this education issue is coming. So this is the uh, gloomy, I will tell gloomy, because it is not only related to cancer, it is related to all other disciplines of medicine. uh, so the human resource development a is a very important thing in this area.
Yes, yes, and that's the, I think government is also slowly understanding that government is also putting an effort on the development of
Yeah,
skill, not only in this particular field, but in overall in healthcare and other sector also. Skilled professionals are needed, and
yes,
that's a good thing for the students also. That the students who are learning today, that they will have a scope to work if they want to, but provided they skill themselves properly, right? That's the thing. Now, sir, thank you very much. Now, moving to the next question, ma'am, we would like to hear from you. Like, it is always said that uh, it is prevention is better than cure. But if you are having the disease any chance by anything, then if it is diagnosed early, then there are higher chances of being treated properly. So, ma'am, my question to you, this diagnosis, that means it plays a very important role to the success of the treatment. So, ma'am, can you say that in the last few years or during the time when you have started your journey, what are the diagnostic revolution that has happened which is helping you to accurately diagnose the disease in time and also to accurately deliver the treatment? Uh, so, if you can put some light on that.
So yes, as I said, the current I think the last decade has seen the change in landscape of oncology, the way we practice and how we diagnose tumors. So I think the major credit goes to the revolution in imaging. The amount of technological development in imaging which has happened has contributed majorly to the development in our radiation and other oncological fields also. So moving from our IVPs to CT scans, now we stand in an era where we have more and more functional imaging. The MRI can, differentiate between an inflammation and a cancer based on certain values. So are these dedicated nuclear scans where you are having different scans for prostate cancer patients, for neuroendocrine tumors. So I think that has majorly improved our diagnostic skills. Our staging has become more accurate in comparison to what it might have in the previous years. And I think we are on a verge of a major change where genomics and tumor markers and our these studies would also contribute. Although it's a niche area, and the resource restricted country we are in, how much we would be using these into our practice would be a big question. But I think the next step of change would be from genomics. People are moving from these liquid biopsies, and you're getting so much of information based on which your decision making has changed. So for example, lung cancer patients, I remember when I was a student, my teachers used to show me that X-ray, and we used to be asked, what is the average survival? So we used to say 9 to 11 months. Happy, that is the survival. Now we tell patients you can live 37 months or even more because you have immunotherapies which are based on these new diagnostics, because these new diagnostics are also offering therapeutic targets to work on. So I think we are on a verge of a change, but the only thing which pains us is that our country may not be able to, give the benefit of this change to all and sundry. So I will also take the opportunity to excuse myself. I really need to leave. So I would wanted to attend it to the end because it is the most interesting discussion of the day. I would say nobody has actually addressed the situation. People are talking of a lot of things. This meeting was the only one which actually addressed the real-time issues. Thank you so much. I think all of you, and
so
I really
much,
learned
ma'am.
a lot from Dr. Sharma.
It's okay, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you.
No issue, no issue. Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am, for joining us. And it's really a privilege to have you on board today. Thank you, ma'am. So moving on to our, although Dr. Kanika Sood has nicely elaborated regarding the diagnostic system which already developed in our present ecosystem and which is benefit a lot regarding the target treatment group of the patient, and definitely it's quite comfortable to hear those things as well, that not only the treatment techniques, the modalities, the diagnostic techniques has developed a lot in our present ecosystem. Now again over to Dr. Sharma sir. I would like to know, sir, that in our present scenario, what actually we are feeling that as the population is expanding, the cases are being in high rise. So as many of our audience belong to our students of radiotherapy technology. So in this regard, I'd like to hear from you, sir. Sir, as the patient load is increasing day by day and a huge number of patients is coming in upcoming days as well, due to many reasons, and many folds the number will give into rise. So in this regard, I would like to know on behalf of my students that what are the challenges they can face in their upcoming days when they are being in their clinical practice, when they are being exposed to hospitals, to the patients. So what are the challenges they have to face and how they cope up with these challenges? What are the opportunities they can also develop from those challenges, and how to cope with these challenges. So in this regard, if you kindly highlight the path for the students as well. Sir, over to you.
Okay. So there are not much of the challenges. These young students which are coming to us all over India, okay, and they are now, the course is now graduate course. So they are by default a graduate. So they should pursue their career in this field also, going from one center to another center where the technology is at a higher end, and going from smaller towns to the metro cities to pursue their career. That is, and demand and supply is there. So they should not worry about, because new centers are already coming up. At this point of time, I am advising around 5 more centers. So like me, there are so many senior doctors around in India which are developing the cancer centers or radiotherapy centers. So they should not worry about their jobs. Challenge is always there. When I did my MD, I did on cobalt machine. After that, I reached up to the stereotactic radiotherapy. So challenges will be there. They should not be afraid of it. Number two, if they think that they are not getting the jobs or the challenges are there today, it's very important that everybody once got graduate, they should looking for livelihood. So during the course of their this thing, once their job is started with something, they should look for hospital management courses. Because over 30 years in this field, I have seen the dental getting saturated, the physiotherapy getting saturated, and they are shifting themselves from the physiotherapy and dental surgery going into the hospital management. So these students should look for other opportunities also in the hospital management also. Okay, so that is what there. Or they want to have another from their side, their question is there. I'm not able to answer in their manner, so they can ask me another question.
I have one.
Yes, yes, yes.
How can we convince the government so that the cancer patient of lower and middle income group get proper treatment free of cost? And is there any organized body in India through which we can place our demands to the government for closing the care gap for cancer patients?
So, see, Ayushman Yojana is one of the programs which had started from Prime Minister's office, which runs all over India now. In that, the treatment is totally free. The surgery, radiotherapy, chemotherapy is totally free. And which is now available in all the states, in all the medical colleges.
Absolutely, sir. So I like to, yeah. Sir.
Not only that. Number two, if the person is having the government, one of the ECHS, ESI schemes, the government aided schemes, they can have the benefit of that also. And Dr. Tapas sir has said, why don't everybody in the family start from your house only? The charity begins from home. Why don't you have the insurance policy at home for your parents, which are getting old now? Why don't you have the insurance policy for yourself? It is very cheap nowadays. Earlier, we were not educated, we are not aware of that. Now, the cancer treatment is covered with very small insurance paid to your family.
Okay, sir.
Absolutely. I have one with 256 rupees per month.
That is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
250,
exactly.
256 rupees, you will not get even,
month.
you will not get even one pizza.
Exactly.
Yes, sir, very true.
Which you are enjoying.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Absolutely.
Nowadays,
Family pizza
changed a
comes
lot.
with 550 rupees.
The sector, the insurance sector has boomed a lot, and the private places came, and many opportunities are there.
And Ayushman Yojana is one of the Yojana which gives a minimum 5 lakh rupees, and in 5 lakh rupees, more than 95% of the patients getting treated.
Yes.
I am utilizing this Ayushman Yojana from 1.5 years.
Yeah, we are also utilizing, sir.
So,
absolutely. See, this is the very first thing, SK Sharma sir, you have mentioned in the the way you started your answer, the very first answer, education.
Education.
The more you are educated, the more properly you are able to handle the situation, any situation, be it your family, be it your health, be it anything.
And a humble request for all those listeners that please stay away from these junk foods. Do some exercise. Don't stick to your mobile. Stick to your exercise, minimum small 10 minutes exercise, and don't eat junk foods. You don't know what you are eating.
Absolutely.
Sir, one more question.
Yes.
Easy for you.
Hello, sir. We are
Yes.
observing World Cancer Day for
Hmm.
many years.
Hmm.
Is growth rate of cancer patients decreasing?
The growth rate is increasing because you and me are not aware of our health. Why incidence is increasing? Because our habits are changing. We are smoking, we are chewing tobacco, we are going with alcohol. Our habits have led to this. And don't forget that you are a young boy. I am saying that in a metro city, if you come to Delhi or Pune or Bombay, the there is a queue of the girls separately on the beer house. The girls are enjoying this, which is against our mythology. So you go with all these things now. When you go against the nature will come to you, back to you. Have some mythological picture. If you go against the nature will bounce back on you. Learn from
Absolutely.
learn from your grandparents, dada, dadi, nana, nani. Okay, how long they survived? Have they talked about cancer in their lifetime? Never.
The way cancer grew in this past 2 decades, it was not there the way like we can see.
Sir, sir, I will share with you something more that you are living. See, there is a trend which is changing every 10 years in the disease also.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Earlier you were having the plague disease, then you were having the diarrhea disease, then you were having the tuberculosis era, then you have the heart attack era, then you have the HIV era. Now please remember everybody, you are living in the era of cancer. Protect yourself. 1 in 5 person during the course of their lifetime will suffer cancer. So protect yourself and your family by doing exercise and stay away from these habits.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
And
We are talking about awareness, Narayan sir. We are talking about the observation of World Cancer Day since year 2000. That is when the World Cancer Day originated. Okay, the first time. Then we are talking about awareness months. January is cervical cancer awareness month. October is breast cancer awareness month. November is lung cancer awareness month. And last week was the time when companies were posting their the annual reports, the quarterly reports, and one tobacco factory reported a growth of around 28% in their quarterly report. So yeah, they are paying dividends.
ITC is paying dividend to you.
Exactly, exactly, for smoking. That's what I'm
For
saying.
smoking. ITC share is going up despite
Going
Sensex is
up,
going down.
going down. We
Absolutely.
are we will be paid dividends to smoke per share of about 5 rupees. As
So
simple as that.
direct, so indirectly you're promoting this one, and we're
Yeah.
still and
Are
still we're
you
being
are
cautious that
taking
how.
you are buying a packet of cigarettes with a warning, with a picture on it.
Yeah.
You are buying it, you are putting the company in profit. That is paying 5 rupees per share. You
This is
and you are
We're
using
also
the
hyperconsumption.
making
dividend
money
to
out
buy
of that.
another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I think
That
cancer
is the
awareness program should be
Yeah,
done frequently by the
exactly. It
cancer.
should not be observed only, sir. It should be implemented.
Yeah, it should be practiced. And like all
Yeah,
of us also and the students, everybody in the society. Like from the
yeah,
students, sir, we often came to know many of the students, they have their family members who are suffering from the deadly disease. And we see how difficult it is for the whole family. Someone's father or mother, they're very sick and they have to go for the
exactly.
treatment. So from these also students and all of us, we should take a lesson that we shouldn't only do a webinar and we can sit back and do the follow the things,
Exactly.
then nothing will happen. Even if we've observed it for coming 100 years, things will not gonna change. So if we wanna
There
change,
was a time,
if
there
we
was
can
a
change
time I
ourselves,
was,
then only we can
sorry,
expect a result out of it.
yeah, Tanima ma'am, there was a time I was visiting cancer, because the treatment is very rightly said by Kanika ma'am also that it is not 4 or 5 days therapy. ये जुकाम की इलाज नहीं है. It is a voyage. have to be there. So there are guest houses present near Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai. You know, due to like we had an initiative where you were trying to make cancer people smile, even for a moment, even for a second. If they smile, if they forget something, that was the initiative of our Council for Cancer Care. We have a NPO. So what happened now? We entered the gate. It is located in Mumbai. The amount, the change that we can perceive, the environment बाहर का जो था और inside का था, it is completely different. वो सब ना दीवार की सीलिंग को देखते हुए एक टाइम बॉम्ब का वेट कर रहे हैं. उनके कानों को पता है ना कि इधर से वोमिटिंग की आवाज आएगी, इधर से डेथ हो गई है तो रोने की आवाज आएगी. स्टेयर के ऊपर स्टेप्स आ रहे हैं तो दे आर थिंकिंग कि हाँ कोई नया पेशेंट आ रहा है. यू नो द एनवायरनमेंट इज कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट. एंड इतना सब कुछ देखने के बाद भी, इतना सब कुछ ऑब्जर्व करने के बाद भी, वी आर नॉट टेकिंग प्रॉपर स्टेप. Knowing everything, we ignore the risk factors, we ignore the early signs. Absolutely. Okay, ma'am.
That is a big difference between, I don't know, like in today's youth, they should implement.
Absolutely.
But the problem that like the youth is not implementing. They are living in a virtual world. They just see, they get a message and they forward it to others. They think it's like just something which have to share in the social media. They will take a note of it, etc. And that's done. That's done. But that's basically not done. They're not walking, they're not biking, they're not, and their parents are giving them, oh, I have only one son, so I have to give him a very costly bike, 1 lakh, 1.5 lakhs minimum. So they will get a bike, they will go to college. And after getting the bike, they will not come to college, but they will get that first. And then they will go somewhere else. But so they will not walk. So the basic things, the basic physical activities, it's decaying. It's decaying from all of us.
Yes.
So yeah, we have to take a toll of that. We have to take a toll of that.
Yes.
Sir, I have one thing, to move ahead, let's to SK Sharma sir and Tapas Majhi sir. Sir, cancer has no answer. ये बड़ा सुनने को मिलता है. It's very rhyming and एक दूसरे के साथ बड़ा सही बैठ जाता है. तो people tend to put it like that. What do you have to say on this? Sir, this question is to both of you.
Should I? Okay. Dr. Sharma, you answer first.
No, sir, please you take.
Actually, sir, actually cancer has no answer. I will defy, because the cancer has many answers. That's why, as because the truth is one. Dr. Sharma will agree with me. The truth is one. So if you tell truth from many angles, then it is not a truth. it is the skewed truth. So it is a mere confession that cancer has no answer, definitely. But we don't know what cancer is. We know that how it can be avoided. You can tell it one answer, as we have discussed now, that the habit and this mainly the changing of the socioeconomic status, habit, and the prevention, the vaccination, etc. So these are the answers. But if you tell that whether one cancer patient, any cancer patient, can be cured 100%, then I will ask you, really, do we expect it? Do we know what is cancer? Even cancer is going on since for a long time, and recently we don't know that our ancestors, whether they suffered from cancer or not. So cancer may be a part of the evolutionary process. Even you don't know that it is the human genome is gradually updating itself and getting more stronger in terms of cancer, because the cancer genes all are related to growth, and development. So actually we know many answers, but we do not know the right answer.
Sir, it is the cancer is there from the long from the history. If everybody heard about Vivekanand,
Yeah.
Vivekanand's guru, some Swami was there, I don't know the remember. He suffered from cancer larynx.
Swami Ramakrishna.
Ramakrishna
Swami
Paramahansa.
Ramakrishnan suffered from CA larynx.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So the cancer is there from the earlier, but it has happened in very few, 1 or 2% people. Now it is happening in 5 to 7%. That is a bad call.
A very
It was
bad
there in
call.
the history. It was there in the history. It was there. But it should happen after 70 years, 75, 80, 90 years, where the person is non-productive. If you see the younger crowd suffering from intestinal cancer at the age of 25, 30, because of he is eating the non-vegetarians and non-veg and or eating tobacco and masala and getting the cancer at the age of 25, 30, he is a burden to the society. Not only that, he is not fulfilling his father or mother's dream. That is the worst part. So productivity is gone. The family social is gone. The parents are suffering for the rest of the life.
Huge burden.
Huge burden. The biggest burden on the earth. The father is giving a funeral to the son.
Unimaginable thing that.
Unimaginable. So the answer is that yes, we should go for some screening programs from door to door so that you get it in early stages. Cancer is curable if detected early. If that is an answer to this, I can go with this, that people should be there in our country, should go for screening programs. The cancer detects early, the curability is very good.
So thank you. We have come to the end of our today's session, and it's a quite fruitful session. And definitely our audience has learned a lot, and definitely
My pleasure.
Pathfinder in the coming days. So just to summarize, to come to the end of the session, I would over to our principal man for the usual protocol of vote of thanks. So over to our principal madam, Dr. Chanda Banerjee madam. Madam is a renowned plastic surgeon and been associated with many medical colleges, and she has published many national and international papers. So over to our principal ma'am, Dr. Banerjee.
Thank you. On behalf of the TS Group and Tripura Institute of Paramedical Sciences, I am thanking you all participating in this webinar to observe the World Cancer Day on 4th February 2022. The theme is to close the care gap. This theme is really praiseworthy because in cancer, early diagnosis and early treatment is the keynote for success. In developing countries like India, standard for knowledge, education, investigations, and economy all are different in each corner of our country. So availability of information, investigation, and treatment are not uniform anywhere. So we should try to bridge that gap in caregiving to the cancer patients. This task is not very easy. It is very difficult, and we have to work hard to achieve success. However, I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Saurabh Trivedi, Principal in charge of Paramedical Section, Bengal Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and consultant in DSRC for spending his valuable time in this webinar. My heartfelt thanks goes to Dr. S.K. Sharma, Director, Department of Radiation Oncology, Capital Hospital, Jalandhar. Next, I am most thankful to Dr. Tapas Kumar Majhi, HOD, Senior Oncologist, Chittaranjan Cancer Institute, Kolkata. My sincere thanks goes also to Dr. KanikaSharma, Director of Radiation Department, Oncology Department, and Dharmashila Narayana Super Specialty Hospital, New Delhi. Last but not the least, my thanks goes to Dr. Swarup and Mrs. Tanima Guha. Without their help, it would have not been possible to organize this webinar. I am also thankful to technical team, Dr. Ashankur Das, Dr. Subra Chatterjee, and Mr. Rahul Pal and Madhumita Das. Again, I am thanking you all for your grand performances. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. So we are leaving.
There's one thing I'll say about this to SK sir and Majhi sir. There's one thing. Straight like an arrow. That's what you answered to all the questions.
Thank you.
For the compliment.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Before closing, just ask one student. Students, do you have anything to ask? Like we haven't given them any chance. Some of them might have left.
No, they are welcome.
Yeah. Anybody, if anything to ask, you can proceed.
We are here only.
Yeah.
Either they have understood everything or they have understood nothing.
Understood anything, exactly. I think the main issue, sir, is like they.
Sir, then in either case, you need to ask them questions, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So nobody is coming forward. I think then we can call it a day.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much, Trivedi. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
I think there is a question in the chat box.
Thank you all. It's a very interesting session today. A lot of good points we are able to learn from all the senior persons from the field.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
So thank you very much for attending. Selva sir is from Apollo, Delhi. So, sir, thank you very, very much. You are so busy and still all of you are joining. It's very good, very encouraging to us. Yeah. And there is one question from, I think, from students of why government doesn't make a screening of cancer mandatory. I think any of you, sir, would you like to answer?
Yeah. The answer is because of the huge cost. You know, the screening, the screenable cancers you have to identify. What are the screenable cancers? That I will not tell you. That you go through the book and find it out. And to screen all the cancer, it is a huge discipline and huge burden, huge cost. So it is not possible for the government right now to screen all its people in this country. So the screening is sporadic in nature, and the data we generate from the screening is implemented in the National Cancer Control Program. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Let's call it a day, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sharma
Thank
sir,
you.
Majhi sir, thank you, Saurabh sir, thank you, Tanima madam, and thank you all the audience.
Thank you. So, leaving in 3,